off-grid family. Today I'm going to be attempting to make a grow light. I'm going to be using LEDs. I can only use the ones I've got. I'm not going to be buying any extras. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wire them all up so they connect to a 12-volt battery, and then I'm going to do some experiments with it. For example, I'll have 3 different seeds. One will be in sunlight in a window, one will be in complete darkness, and one will be in complete darkness with the grow light. I have some red, blue, yellow, green, super bright white, and I have 4 ultraviolet LEDs. This is what I use because this is what I've got, and I don't have their exact voltage anymore. Like red LEDs tend to be from 1.5 volts up to about 3.3 volts. Some of them are just 1.5, some of them are 1.7. So what I'm going to have to do is take their estimated voltage and then test them against a 12-volt battery, having them in series, because what I want to do is, where possible, not have any resistors. That won't be possible in some cases, but for example 5 red LEDs in series should be around 12 volts, so that should run absolutely fine. If I have 4 blue ones in series with a 100 ohm resistor, that should be a nice blue and that should last forever sort of thing, you know, that shouldn't burn out. The way I'm going to test this is I'm going to have a breadboard and I'm going to put in 1 or 2 more LEDs than I've worked out I need, test that under 12 volts, then see what the brightness is, if any, take one away, try again, take one away, until I've got it, the LEDs burning quite brightly, but not so brightly that I think they're going to blow. And then what I'll do is I'll leave them plugged in for maybe 10 minutes, check the temperature of them and so on. If there's no heat coming off them and none of them have blown or anything, then I know I can use that number in series for 12 volts and I can make them into the circuit and so on. If they've got too hot, then I know that their voltage is too high and maybe put a resistor in or another LED. And I'll just have to test it like that with every single different colour until I know exactly how many I can use, and then I will solder them all into a circuit where each one's parallel. So you've got a set of say 5 red LEDs and they're connected parallel to a set of 4 blue LEDs and so on, and then I can make up a nice little grow light from that. I'm thinking make a tiny one that size, so it'll have maybe 20 or 30 LEDs on it, and then go bigger as and when I've done my testing. I'm thinking also of printing out my own circuit boards when I've done this one and I've done the testing. If it works and it's absolutely brilliant and whatever, I'll print out my own custom PCB, and that way you guys can see how that's done. It's pretty much like doing the birthday present I did for my wife from my son, which you can see just there. And what I'll do is I'll print out another one with the exact where I need LEDs and so on, and we'll see from there. So the next job then for me is to test all the LEDs in series and see how many will work with 12 volts. So I'll show you how I do that next. I've just finished the doing of the video, and unfortunately I touched the circuit with the 12-volt battery and it went sparkly and beautiful, but not in a good way. Something zapped, so I'm not entirely sure what happened. I'm gonna have to look at the video to find out. I haven't had a chance to. So basically what I'm trying to say now is I've done the whole thing. I did all the soldering and all that, and something went wrong and I'm not entirely sure what. I need to look over the video before I can tell you, but just bear in mind when I'm showing you all the stuff on how to do it and so on, something is wrong, but I'm not sure. So enjoy the video. You know, I like to put out all my messing up as well as my, you know, achievements. You can watch it and decide what not to do. And once I've figured out what the hell I did do wrong, I will tell you and rectify the problem and make it better. Okay, so I'm going to start off by testing the yellow. This yellow LED, I did research, and it can be between 1.8 volts and 2.2 volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in series, like I said. So the positive leg is this side, negative this side, and I'm connecting that negative leg to the positive of this one. And then the negative of that one to the positive of this one, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to assume that I'm 1.8, so I'm going to need 6 in series, or, well, I'd need 6 point something or other, so we might need a resistor. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on my power pack, going to connect positive up to the positive leg. Now, this is just experimentation, you know, it may go horribly wrong, it may not, we'll soon see. Okay, they're all lit. And they're all bright-ish, not too bright. And they're not hot at all at the moment. And what I'll do now is I'll just leave them for between 5 and 10 minutes to see if they're okay. This may not be the most scientific way of doing it, but it's the only way I've got on hand to do it. I don't know what the exact voltages of these LEDs are. I bought them a long time ago, so I'm sort of just brute forcing it. We'll see how it goes. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I've got a lot of LEDs and time to waste, so let's try it. Okay, so this has been running for now probably 20 minutes, and there's no heat, there's no nothing. One thing I looked at was a website which is for LED arrays, and it tells you what resistors to have in it, because I didn't want to tell you guys what to or not to do, and you know, you end up blowing loads of resistors because I haven't given you the right information. With this here, with this particular array, you should have a 1 ohm resistor. And that dissipates a small number of watts. I think it's 0.625 watts, I think, but don't hold me to that just yet. I'll have a check in a minute. I don't have any 1 amp resistors, 1 ohm resistors, sorry, so it's got to be like this. There's nothing I can do about it. So we now know we can have 6 yellow LEDs in series, and they should be fine. There's literally no heat at all from them, which is a good sign. And what I'll do is I'll write down on my little chart that we can have 6 LEDs for 6 yellow LEDs for 12 volts, and then I'll go on to the next colour. And basically, I've worked out that you can have various different numbers for various different colours due to their voltage and their current. So I'll show you the voltage chart. Actually, I'll flash the voltage chart up on the screen now. And underneath it there'll be a little web address that you can go to, which is where I got this chart from. And I had a very quick look through the website, and it looks pretty helpful. If you know nothing about LEDs, that's a good starting point to have a look through. Another website that's going to be very helpful for this project is it's an LED series and parallel array wizard. And what you do is you type in the power supply you're running the LEDs from, how many LEDs you want to light, and then it will work out what resistor you need and even tell you the colours of the resistors you need. So if instead of doing it like the practical way of doing it, you can actually use this, and I'll put that web address in the description and on screen now. The next one I'm going to test is green. Now green are between 3.2 and 3.8 volts. So if we say we can probably, well, we'll try 3. No, I'll try 4 actually. Try 4 at first and go from there. Oh. So again, just like before, I'm putting the positive side this side, and then I'm going positive to negative to put them in series. And we'll try 4, but we might need much less than that. They seem to be glowing quite bright actually. Let's try 5. Just blinded myself. Okay, and they're very dull. So 4 seem okay, but they do seem quite bright. So what I might do now is I might just have a quick look online to see if I can put a resistor in the circuit to make it a bit safer so that I don't blow out the LEDs. So I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, I did a bit of research, and the page I said to go to, which has got the array, the LED arrays, is really good. However, it's very specific. For example, it was telling me that to have 4 in a row, I'd need to do 3 on one and 1 on the other, or this, that, and the other. It doesn't really matter. But I changed it to just 3 LEDs, and it told me I could do that, but I needed an 82 ohm resistor. Now, I'm not sure if I've got any, no, I know for a fact I've got no 82 ohm resistors. I've got no 80 ohm and 2 ohm resistors either, or any mixture of the two. So what I did was, I've tried it with a 100 ohm resistor and that works absolutely fine. So we can do that without a problem. I'm wondering if I can get one more on there, how bright that'll be. So they don't have to be super duper duper bright. See, I'm actually happy with them being that bright. Too low. So I think I'll do 4 with a 100 ohm resistor. Once I've finished all the testing, I will put a list of what I'm using and so on the screen. Okay, that's been about 10 minutes and we got no heat, no nothing, so I'm happy to go with that. I've done the research and the test, so that's fine. Okay, here's what I've got, what I've laid out, and it's not what I'd decided before. What I want to do, these are all just the colours, you know, in strips. Now that's not how the final version will be. They'll be dispersed and probably in circles and spiraling down into one centre. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to solder all these, get them all so they're working, and then start the experiment, I think, with just what we've got here, which are red, yellow, green and blue LEDs. Now I know that some LED grow lamps have just red and green, but I've read lots of research that says that is, it was believed that were the two that they needed, etc, etc. But that later on now they found that using all of the light spectrum is better. But you know, I'm just going to test this now, so the first thing I'm going to do, solder it all together. Okay, so I'm going to start soldering now. When it comes to, if this works and it goes with it, you know, and obviously there'll be some changes I need to make, but if this works, then the proper episode where I build the final one, I will talk through exactly step by step how to do everything I do. But this is just me testing, so I thought, you know, I'll just crack on with it. When I cut LED legs off, I put them in here. I got loads of them, and I actually use them to bridge gaps that I can't get to. So for example, I'm going to want to link between these two. I always pick these little bits up because I have stood on one with no shoes on, and you never do that twice. Right, little word of advice, don't try anything with a battery straight after you finish soldering, because while it's still hot it doesn't conduct as well. So you might find, especially with LEDs, that they flicker and stuff just while your solder's drying. Okay, so there's that side, and there it is that side. It's just a very simple, rather than printing out any type of circuit, I've bridged the solder and made the sort of circuit myself. Okay, so test number 1. Three, two, one. Oh no, it doesn't work. Just joking, I didn't turn it on. If it doesn't work now, then then I don't know what to do. Oh, I know what I have done. Green. I needed a, before I do anything, okay, one thing I forgot, the green needed a 100 ohm resistor. Glad I remembered that at the last possible minute. Now let me just work this out. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's red. 4, blue, yellow, and then green, yeah. If you're ever going to do any type of soldering ever, one of these is a definite must. It actually just sucks up the solder. It's got a little spring, you push this bit down and sucks the solder out of the way, as you'll see. Okay, that'll do. Let's just hope I put that in the right place. I didn't take much care in thinking about that then. Right. Here we go then. Let's find negative. This side. Positive, this side. Oh, and we've blown it. Did you see that spark? That was me putting it in the wrong place. Okay, so this is the one I made originally. This is the one that blew. And unfortunately I have desoldered all the tracks because I was going to be reusing this board, and I will reuse it, but I just couldn't be bothered to reuse it this time. But if you have a look, I've gone in parallel on each one. That's why it blew. 12 volts went to each and every LED, not spread out over them. So I redid this one. It's exactly the same, except it's in series, and I put all the LEDs a little bit closer together. But there's the soldering circuit on that side. So let's try this one, shall we? If this one blows up, then I will not be doing any more electronic videos ever again, because either I'm rubbish at electronics or something to do with me making videos means I ruin them each time. So 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's a bit better, isn't it? And that's got all the different colours, and as you can see, it should be coming out, yeah, it's coming out white because I'm using the, I think, the primary colours of light. That's red, green and blue. So the white patch is where they intersect. So theoretically, we should have enough of a baby grow lamp to do some tests at least. So in the next video, I'll be doing a test on, I'll have 3 plants, 3 seedlings or 3 seeds. I will put one in pitch black with this and one in a windowsill, and then we'll check how well they germinate and so on. But for now, I'll leave it there because this has been like a 5-hour video for something that should be relatively simple if you don't mess it up by putting it all in parallel. Okay, thanks for watching, and part 2 should be out very soon. Bye!